Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to Let's Get Real with Seven podcast. Today, I have some very amazing people on this show with me, and I will allow them to introduce themselves before we get started.
My name is Amy Muchuranyana.
Okay.
I have 5 kids.
Okay, I was about to say, talk a little bit about yourself. What's their names?
I have 5 kids. The oldest is Luke. Second is Joshua. The third is Deborah, Jonathan, and Ruth.
Okay. My boy.
I'm Luke. This is my mom sitting right next to me. Currently go to school.
What school?
GCC, also known as Glendale Community College.
What you going to school for? Tell the people.
Computer programming.
Give me my money.
It's going pretty good right now. It's still stressful because it's finals time, but I think I'll pull through just fine.
You got it, my dude.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, sis, I'm going to give you the stage right now to allow you to speak about some of the things that you went through. So the people already kind of know some of the stories of what the different siblings had to go through. And again, for those of you that are just viewing in, man, and coming to the show, my family and I were part of the Congo genocide, Moses said. And a lot of things happened in the concentration camp. And a lot of people have heard my mom's side of the story and everything that she had to go through. They've heard bits and pieces of my sister's story and my oldest brother's stories. And honestly, when I told my other siblings that I was going to have my sister on this show, they honestly wanted to be here live to listen to what she had to say. Today, I'm giving her the opportunity to give her piece, give her testimony in a sense, because it's a very powerful testimony that not a lot of people have heard. I don't even think I've heard the full story. And so today, I'm going to create that space for you to speak upon it. And then later on, after she's done, I'm going to give my nephew room for him to share his piece as well, too. And then through it all, I'm going to ask some questions, and we'll go from there. Go ahead, sis.
Thank you. Thank you, brother, for this opportunity. First of all, I'm going to begin by thanking God for all his grace upon our lives, and also for the challenges that he led us to go through. There was a person who said that our today's challenges is tomorrow's testimony. So I thank God for my brother who just gave me an opportunity to speak about my testimony. It's a long testimony, but also I see the beauty in it because God allowed us to go through it, so I give him glory. He allowed us to go through it, and then we overcame it, and then now we are here in the United States. If we didn't go through that, I don't think we'll be able to come in this country, which I thank God for that too.
Hey sis, I'm going to pause you, and I'm going to allow you to sit in the middle so you can look directly at the people. Come on. Come on, sis.
So,
yeah, sit on the middle chair.
Pause me.
Yeah,
it's okay. No, this part I'm gonna go ahead. Because I want her to be looking at the people.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I say, I have 5 kids, and they're all handsome and beautiful, and I thank God for that. So my story, it's long story, but good story as well. And then I'm gonna take this time for those who's listening to me. If you listen to it carefully, it will change your life. Or if you're going through some struggle, it will help you, and I hope it will help you. Like I said, in 1996, the war started in the Congo. 1998, we were taken to prison. My father got killed. We were left with my mom. My mom had 8 kids. At the same time, she just found out she was pregnant. When we got to the prison, it was the most hardest things that I ever experienced. At that time, I was 16. Imagine when you are 16 and you find yourself in prison, and you never do anything that can bring you to the prison, but just because the way you look will bring you to prison. And then I found myself asking God, I said, God, why did you create us this way? And then I said to God, I never knew one day I would be able to go to prison, or I would be taken to prison for who I am or for who you create me to be. But like I say, but glory be to God, he took us in that prison, and then also he got us out. But before we were in the prison for 16 months. For those who heard my mom maybe stories called Rose Mapendo, or you can say Push the Elephant, you will get more details if you go through that. We were there for 16 months, like I said. In those 16 months, it was just like 10 years, or maybe more than 10 years. We went through struggle. They had us in there for 15 days without food. We were not allowed to take shower. If they take us to the river to take shower, they will ask us to dip ourselves in and out. The same clothes that we had, we wear the same clothes every single day. And lices were all over us, and then they were itchy, and so much stuff that we went through.
So for 16 months, you had the same clothes on?
Yes, we had the same clothes. Some good people, or I would say good Samaritan people, came, start finding small clothes for the kids. Mm-hmm. But it was like after a year and some months. Mm-hmm. So I can tell you it was an easy journey. It was an easy journey. And imagine not just being there with your mother, and then your mom find out that she was pregnant. And then you're like, God, why would you allow this to happen? You knew I was going to be in prison, me not doing nothing, and my husband will be killed. That's my mom saying, and you allowed this to happen to me. My mom was pregnant. Through whole pregnancy, she never go to the hospital. She never get checked out, because every time you go to the hospital, they will inject you with water instead of IV, the right IV. So, and somebody said to my mom, do not allow them to take you to the hospital, because if they take you to the hospital, you will never come back. That's how they were killing people. Instead of taking you and shoot you, they decide with the kids and women, if you get sick, they can take you and never bring you back. So my mom prayed. Thank God for my mother. She's a great woman. She took prayer all the time, every single day. We were not even allowed to pray in that prison because we were prisoner. So as you can see, prisoner, they're not allowed to do many things.
Yeah.
So she was not allowed to pray until one day she advised herself. It would be much better for her to pray and get killed by praying than just to be silent.
Yeah.
So my mom continued to pray, will ask some question to God. She was mad at God, first of all, but then one day she realized that no matter what you go through, God's still God. Mm-hmm. Then she asked for forgiveness. She said, God, no matter what, before I was created, before I was in my mother's womb, you knew me and you had a good plan for me. Once she said that, oh my God, things changed. We were happy even though we were in prison. We would still have a smile on our face, even if things were not the way we wanted to go. Mm-hmm. Soldier will come and, say whatever they want to say. They will tell you today is your last day. We have to dig a hole for you guys to be killed and dumped in. And then one day I was so mad. I told one soldier, I said, the same way you're killing people, that's the same way exactly they will do to you. He got so mad at me and he slapped me. He wanted to shoot me. And I was like, it's better for you to shoot me than me staying in prison. But my mom asked me to be silent and just be quiet and let them do whatever they want. But she said God will take care of us. I was so sad though. I was like, I told my mom, I said, Mom, how can people just be so mean to people? And she said, that's how people are. But God will always be on our side. So I listened to my mom. I kept quiet. after like being there for at least for a year and 3 months. My brother, one of the lady that was living with us in prison, she was also a prisoner and she was from our culture, changed her identity. She said she was a different kind of Congolese than us because we are Congolese Banyamulenge and they were Congolese. There's no difference between Congolese Banyamulenge and Congolese because we're all Congolese, but they will still make a difference. So they say that they are not Congolese. She said she was not Congolese, and then she was just insulting some people. Oh, I'm not Banyamulenge, I am Congolese, so fully Congolese. That's why you will have to obey what I said. From then, she started making she created some conflict between the ladies who were there because being there for 15 days without food creates some drama. Then that day, people decide because there were five families, and then one of the lady and my mom said that from now on, when they bring us the food, we will have to divide according to the family member, how many people you have.
Yeah.
And then it was an issue. When it became an issue, and that lady wanted to fight my mom, so my brother stood and said that you can't talk to my mom anyhow. I will never allow you to let my mom, to talk to my mom like that. So you need to watch out. From then it became an issue. She went and told the soldier that my brother John, he's the one I'm talking about, said that when the people from outside comes, they will kill all the Congolese. That became a big issue. When that became a big issue, those soldiers were looking for John to kill John. That was the hardest even thing for me because John, I'm the oldest. I am the first daughter, firstborn. John is second. Also, our culture, when the boy is the second, always we know we have a man in the family. So I say, my father is already been killed, and John also is going to be killed. And then I was so sad because John has to flee and go to live in bushes so they won't find him. He was there for a few weeks. It really did bother me. It really bothered me. So there was one soldier that came and spoke to my mom and said, I like your daughter. And then we were just so confused. That time there was no need for me to say I like somebody or them to say I like us because they were like enemies to us. But because of John's situation, my mom and I decided to try to save John's life. And then when the soldier said that he likes me and he will take care of John, I allowed that to happen, and he took me. I was there for quite 3 weeks to 1 month, and my mom did not even know where I was. He took me. He never come back. So my mom was just so much worried that maybe he had killed me or something else. So my mom worried about me because she did not know where I was located. And the guy who took me also, he had to face some challenges because he was really a great man. He had a very good position. He was the one who was fabricating the bombs. Mm-hmm. So in his house, there was not a light allowed. So, but he used to drink a lot. Mm-hmm. He was somebody very smart, but also he drinks so much alcohol. like the very strong alcohol. So every time he will come home, he will beat me. But I did not care that much. I would say if I can be killed, but as long as one day he will remember and save my brother. I ignore all those. I tried to ignore those moments, but they were so painful moments for me. But I spoke to God in my heart. I said, God, I know you create me for a purpose and for a reason, and I'm gonna let you walk me through it. And God did. He really did work me through it. He used to beat me every single day. I can't remember how long I was with him, but it's not less than almost 2 months. But in those 2 months, every single day, imagine I was beaten. And sometimes he would bring nothing home, but he would still ask me to cook for him. And I'll say, imagine I'm a prisoner. Even though you take me because you like me and you're gonna help my brother, you need to bring food for home so I can cook for you. But I had nothing to cook for him. But I realized that it's because he was drunk every single day. That's probably why you will do such things. Another thing, he was like very, very older than me. He was like maybe in his 50-some, even though I was still 16. So, and that really also bothered me. I was like, how can a man like this, who has this age, can't even feel sorry for this somebody else's daughter, even though you take him because you like it or for your reasons, but you still can have a sympathy for that person or also have a heart as a human being. But that did not change what he was doing until one day also he paid some price. Other soldier told him that he's gonna have to be punished for having enemy in his house. They took him, they put him in a hole and put water on him, and they beat him so much. I was worried because I said, maybe they're gonna kill him. I have already given myself for a reason for John, but nothing, like it's improving. He's not doing nothing. After him going through that, that way they were doing to him, like beating him, he came home one day. He said, I remember what I promised your mother about your brother. He was so nice that day, and he wanted to fulfill what he promised my mom. He said, I'm gonna go see your mother. Because he was somebody great. He had a good position. He would tell them what to do. But the only problem he had was drinking. You know, when you're an alcoholic, you know, sometimes you don't get to do many things like you wanted to because you are controlled sometimes by those alcohol that you take. But one day he remembered, he went back to my mom. He said, Mom, I promise you I would do trying to advocate for John. And he did. He went to those people who were in charge with us and say John did not do such things. And then from there we start seeing the change. So John came back, even though we were in prison, but at least my mom can see both of us. Even though we were still in prison, I was not there, but a moment that he saw the guy coming and tell Mom, I will help you with John, he knew that I was still alive. So my mom begged him to tell him where we were. He did not want to tell him because he had to move the location because they will also try to kill him for having an enemy in his house. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So he moved, we went to the hotel, and when we got to the hotel, we were there like for a week, but my mom did not know where we were. During that week, he came home, he said, I want to eat. I said, I have nothing to give it to you because you did not bring money or you did not bring food. I was not even allowed to go out.
Yeah.
He will be the one who will go and bring the food, and I will be able to cook for him. But he did not bring a food. It was so hard for me. And then I asked God, God, can you take my life away? Because I can't be somebody else's like a playground to come and beat me. He really did beat me. He was grabbing me and throwing me through the walls and things like that. I keep asking God, God, I know my life will be better if you just take me home. And I know even though the situation is not completely changed, but I know you are God, you will still do what you plan for your people. So take me home. During the second week, he came home. He kept asking me for things that I don't have. And then I told him, I said, I'm done with you. I said, guess what? I'm going back to prison, and I don't care if you help John. God will help John. That day, he beat me, and he took me outside. I will never forget that day. Sorry. He took me outside, but I did not know that that hotel has so many soldiers in it. And some of the soldiers who had some extra rooms, they were the president's like family member, but they were also soldier. He took me outside. He said, since you respond to me like that, and then I call him enemy. I'm not gonna lie. At that time, because I was so angry, I said, you are enemy, the same thing as everybody who brought us and took us in prison. We did not do nothing, and then from now forward, I'm not gonna listen to you. I wanna go back and be with my family. I want all of us to be killed the same day, so I don't care. He took me outside. He was angry. He took me outside. He took matches. And then he wanted to burn me. He took matches and he lighted the light. Sorry.
No, he's fine. Okay.
He started burning my clothes. It happened that one of the soldiers who was in that hotel was just standing by the window. He saw him lighting my clothes. So my clothes started burning. So the soldier came. He just ripped all those clothes that was burning me. He took me inside. He gave me a warning. He said, if you touch her one more time, I will shoot you right now. This is something that I never even shared with my mother because I didn't want my mother to feel so bad because she has already some problem. But I'm sharing this because there may be somebody who's going through the same thing I went through. But let me tell you, God's still good. God is always good. He will always fight our battle. Things that we are not able to do on our own, He will always do it for us. That day, he took me back inside the room. They told him, if you touch her one more time, that will be the end of your life. Since that day, he didn't beat me. But he will come home drunk. He won't ask me anything. And then I just came to find out the next day that I wasn't feeling good. I felt like... excuse me. I feel like throwing up. I feel like I was sick. I had a bad headache but I thought that it's because he was beating me every day. That's why. Maybe that's the effect of it. Him beating me every single day. He had a friend. a doctor friend. He brought the doctor, and the doctor came to our room, and he said, "Who are you?" And then I told him who I was. I told him I'm one of the prisoner. And he asked me, "What are you doing here? And what's wrong?" I said, "What's wrong? What's wrong? I'm a prisoner, and I want to go back to my mom. I want to go back to prisoner. He took me here. He said he loved me, but everything that he does to me is to beat me, is to do something crazy, and I want to go back." And he asked me, "Are you sick?" He brought me here. He said, "Because you are sick." And I said, "Why does he care?" He said, "No, I love you. That's why I brought the doctor. I want to know what's going on." Before, he wouldn't let me go nowhere, so he took me. The doctor said, "How about you come tomorrow to the clinic and see what's going on?" So the next day we went to the clinic. From then, they told me that I was pregnant. When they told me that I was pregnant, I was very shocked. Because I asked God not to be pregnant because I didn't know if I was gonna survive. I think everybody would think the same way. And I asked God, but I did not regret. I said, "God, if this is what you want for me, or if this is my mistake to accept somebody so they can save my brother, but you know how you're gonna handle." So the same week, that doctor felt so bad for me. He came home. He came to see me. He asked me, "Young lady, do you have food? Does the guy buy you food?" I did not want to say yes, he doesn't buy me food, because I knew if I say it, it would be more drama to me, because he wouldn't want to be the bad guy. But then he looked at me. That guy went outside, and then the doctor told me, it's like, "No, you have two things. You are pregnant and you are very hungry. I'm going to give you some money so you can shop." But then I say, "I can't shop. If you give me the money, I cannot shop because I can't go outside by myself. He has to be the one." He said, "No, just hold the money and try to find somebody who can shop some food for you." I accepted the money, but he came back inside because he was smoking outside. He came inside. He's like, "What did the doctor told you?" I said, "Nothing." And the doctor said that I will help you to escape, to go back in the prison, because that's what I wanted. But at that time, John was home, and there was no too much drama about it. Suddenly, like after a few days, I was sitting outside to the hotel. I saw my mom popping in. I was so afraid because I was like, how did my mom get here? What happened? And I don't know what's going on, I was so afraid for mom leaving the kids in prison and just coming to look for one person. I was happy to see my mom, but I was also sad for my siblings who were left by themselves. My mom came, and she was so nice. She spoke to him. My mom is so a smart woman. She came and told him that, "You know what? They have told us that they're gonna move us, and I can't leave my daughter. I have to go with my daughter." And he said, "No, it's not possible. She's not going nowhere. She's not leaving me. She's not gonna go nowhere. She has to be here." When my mama said, she said, "No, she's still your wife, but guess what? Let me have her to be with her siblings. You are able to move where we are. You are always, be in contact with her." But that was one way my mom wanted to have me back. Mm-hmm. But also I was so afraid to leave him because I know he was capable, of harming my brother and my mom. If my mom wouldn't follow what he said, it would be, bad. I did not know what he was thinking in his mind. But suddenly I came to find that he wasn't a bad person. He allowed my mom, he said, okay, go tomorrow, she will come. My mama said, I'm not leaving her. I cannot leave her because they say tomorrow we will go. What the guy did is he lied that he was so sick. He wanted to be transferred. He went to the hospital, not even sick, just to follow me. He didn't want me to go. He said that I'm not going to let you go. I'm just going to follow you. Just to go with your mom, but I'm behind you. Whatever you are, I will keep asking what's going on. And then I went with my mom. I got there in prison. Some other family, we were together. They advised me to do abortion. I said, no, that's not my worries. And they said, no, it's better for you to have abortion than carrying this child. I said, no. I said, what difference would that make for them killing my dad and me killing my own blood? I said, no, I would never do that. Mm-hmm. I would be a killer the same way like those who killed my father. And then my mom said, no, my daughter is not going to have abortion because I don't believe in abortion. And then this is my grandchild. I will take care of my grandchild. I know she will succeed if God take us from here, and her child will be a great child. Mm-hmm. So, but many people keep coming, call me stupid for not doing abortion. I was so disgraced because of that. People call me names. I said, I don't care how much names you call me. God knows the name that I have, and my mom named me this name. That's what I know. Whatever you call me, it's your choice. Yeah. But I would not do abortion. That's not what I was created for. And I say my child will be a great person. What about if I kill the president? I say, what about if I kill somebody who will touch people's life? I say, I'm not going to do that.
So in our culture, you guys don't believe in divorce, correct?
Correct.
Okay. But when you're just in a relationship, and it's a very abusive relationship, do you not think people should have the right to get out of it if you're getting beat every day? Because I understand there's two sides, right?
Yes.
The man and woman.
Yes.
You guys are both wrong in some way, shape, or form, right. Okay?
Right.
But that still doesn't give the man the right to put his hands on a woman, correct?
Correct.
So now if the woman wants to leave, she should have the choice to leave.
Yes. I agree with you. According to our culture, like you said, we don't believe in divorce.
Yeah.
And they say everything, you can bury everything, anything. There's some people who will beat you because different reasons.
Yeah.
They're either not born again or saved. They are not Christian people, but our culture, most of people claim to be Christian. And then we know it's hard even to differentiate who's a true Christian, but I think the way we were in our culture, everybody knows that there's an extent, there's a way you can't cross.
Yeah,
normally people back home, you don't lay hands on your wife.
Correct.
That's normally not acceptable. And when those things happen, the family will sit together. They will try to see what's going on, both sides, and they will tell the man that you can't beat your wife. Those things are solved like that. But in any other country, it's different. We fight. There's people who do divorce even if they don't lay hands on you.
Yeah, but we're not talking about that. That's a different topic in itself.
Yeah. So, but those people who you can decide to separate with them instead of divorce, give them a time. Let them see if they can come to their senses or trying to work out, see. Because when you get off from the relationship, it's so hard to just remain by yourself or single. Most of people end up being in a different relationship. What about if the next person is the same? You're going to keep doing the same thing.
Yeah.
You actually pray.
Okay.
I advise those people to pray.
So it's more of a... Okay.
Yes.
Like, I completely understand because for us, we were raised very spiritual and in a Christian home. So I definitely agree with you. There's definitely relationships that God is not in the center of, and that's why those things even occur. But I think also there is a line that you cross that where it's like, okay, well, yes, let's say they've given the person some time and some space. Like, but what's enough time? You almost kind of didn't have a choice, though. Like, you stayed in it because you were trying to protect John.
Yes.
And then second, you just were like, you didn't want to leave out of it because you didn't know what could have happened afterwards.
Yes.
So you were almost like stuck. And that's the same situation these other people are in, too. They feel like they can't get out of it.
Yes. My situation is different.
Okay.
You know? It was my choice to leave it. But for the things that I was targeting, I wanted to make sure my family is safe.
Yeah.
But I had a choice to leave. If you're not married, you're not stuck to anybody's.
Yeah.
You know, like those people, if they're not married, why you have to deal with that? I would advise them to leave the person if you're not married, because. But my situation is different. You know, I was protecting my family. I see there was a benefit for me being with him, even though he was beating me every day. And I was looking ahead of it. What about if he can save John and save my family? And that was my point right there. So I ignore everything. You beat me, but please beat me every day, even if I can die. But at least if those people can survive, I will feel like I accomplished something, you know.
Okay, I'm sorry for interrupting you. You can continue. You were the part where mom came and she was talking to the guy.
Yeah, and then when she talked to the guy allowed him to take me back. But he also took himself to the hospital and said that I'm sick when he was not sick. So he didn't want to let me go. He wanted to follow me everywhere I was.
Yeah.
So
Crazy.
we were taken from a Kananga. The next day, he was still in the hospital. That day we went to Kinshasa. As soon as we landed there in Kinshasa, they took us back to the prison. Yeah, we were coming from prison to prison, you know. But, you know, Kinshasa is the capital. We were there.
Capital
of Congo.
Okay.
So I was so happy. I was like, he will never see me. He will never touch me again. And I'm with John. I'm with mom. I'm with my siblings.
Yeah.
My goal is complete.
I was like, yeah, God is good. Soon as I said God is good, the next day I saw somebody say, I want to see Amy. I was like, who is it? Somebody said that's Amy's husband. I was like, I have no husband. I went to Mama. I said, Mom, he's here. Mama said, what? I said, yes. And Mama said, just go. Go and talk to him nicely. He had a needle. He brought needle.
Milk. Needles, milk. That's
So-
just
That tea hit different.
Because he knew I was pregnant. He also wanted his son. He told me, he's like, I told him, I have your son. How can I hate you? I don't hate you. I love you, of course. How can I have a son from you if I don't love you? Because I was just trying to escape. I want to say something that will please him so he can let me go.
Of course.
Yeah.
Now he followed me. I was like,
Yeesh.
oh, Jesus, what's going on? He came and told my mama, said, go. I went. We were sitting on this room, you know, at the entrance. They have like a guest room that you sit. And he told me, I promised you that I was going to follow you. I was like, I promise you I was trying to stay away from you. In my heart, I can say that I have to be nice person that you can't ever imagine. I was pulling a fake smile. A fake smile. He said that I went to the president. I spoke to the president. Told him there's a girl that I love and she's carrying my child. And then, so I want you to stay here with me. Oh, and the president already gave me a house. Because he was somebody great. He was somebody who was making bombs.
Yeah.
He was very smart.
Okay.
Smart and smart. And I
Also
know
crazy.
Pookie got some smart from him. I know. He can make bombs.
Well, I hope we can.
yeah.
Well, let's not say that.
Nah, that
Yeah,
one
he
you
cannot-
can make a computer, but
He
don't
cannot
make.
make bombs.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah.
he's not.
he's
yeah.
not.
So
No one has
these
ever
people,
tried.
these people value him.
Okay.
So they value him. They know he was a person that who's wanted in the military. So when he said the president give him a house, I was so disappointed. I was so discouraged. I was like, he can say I will take you, and he can't take me.
Out of the prison and leave.
Oh
He
yeah.
would leave us.
Oh yeah. He had the power to do it. He had a very power to do it. Even there, he called the president. He said, they're taking my girl, this and this and this. I said, do you want him to stay? Mama said, don't worry, I will keep her safe for you. That woman plays safe game. So I was like, yeah, you know I love you, but I want to be with John and Mom, you know. And look, how you think I'm gonna leave my mom? You see where we are? We're still in prison. He goes like, you know what? I will come back. I told him, don't worry. You will come back. I said, don't worry, I'm here. You
No, I
will
can't
always
go
know.
nowhere.
I can't go nowhere. He went back home. He never came back when we were in prison. Suddenly, I don't know how long, how many days or how many weeks. Suddenly, like around 4 or 3 o'clock in the morning, the president came to that place. You know.
So what, the prison you were at?
Yes, we were. I remember we were in the room like this. Mama was sitting here. We were knocked out.
Yeah.
You know,
3 in the morning.
we were knocked out. Mom had two kids,
Yeah.
twins. They are like almost dying.
Mhm.
You know, the president came. We did not even know. Mama said, guys, Joseph Kabila. No, the son is president.
Mhm.
Joseph Kabila, the president, this former president. Joseph Kabila,
Yeah.
he was the chief commando.
Yeah.
And he came, he was like, Mama, is this your kids? That's my mom asking us. I said, yes, Papa. The next day, the soldier came, is like, get your things together, We are shipping you, we are taking you somewhere. And then I asked Mom, what's going on? He said, the son came this morning, saw me. He was like shaking his head. And I said, oh, thank God. The president give money. He said, give to them, give them food, buy them plate, take them to the Red Cross. I was like, yes. That day, we were there whole day. What the soldier did, they cook beans for a few minutes and they give us to eat. Everybody was having diarrhea.
Sheesh.
That was so sad because we were leaving because he ordered them to just take us away before they kill us. He said, I don't want these kids to be killed here. Take them to the Red Cross. So they took us that day. We went to the Red Cross. When I got there, I was relieved because now we're on the Red Cross
Yeah.
hands. So you're a
Yeah.
little safer than being in
Before,
prison.
yeah.
You know, they put us in tent. We were 5 families, like I say. But I was pregnant. Was very pregnant, but I was just like somebody who has HIV. I was so slim. Everybody would come and look at me. They say like, is this person gonna survive today? But I was happy.
Mhm.
Me seeing John, seeing my mom and see other people around me, I was the most happiest person because I keep saying, God, one more day. Maybe tomorrow we won't be here. We'll be in a different country with John because I really love John. John is like the father of the house. Even though he's just my younger brother, he's the second, the one that follow me.
Yeah.
But for me to be able to do something, for John to survive, it was just the most thing that made me happy. When we got to the Red Cross, these American people came. I remember it was Sheikha and Sasha with the other 2 men. They came, they saw my brother, the twins. They were like shaking their head. They were speaking in English, but I don't understand English. I don't know what they were saying. They just looked at the kids And somebody who spoke our language said, he spoke English, he said, he's saying this is impossible. It is impossible. How can these kids, they're almost 9 months, but they can't even measure 2 pounds, or 3 pounds. Look, it's just the head. Because their head was so huge, more than them. Gaylor and Andre, But my mom always kept praying every single day. He said, God, you have a plan for us. And I said, God, yes, you do have a plan for us. From then, we were safe. After like 1 week, I saw that guy there. Jesus, I was like, again.
He is persistent.
He followed me there. But then, he does not have choice to take me nowhere. I was on the Red Cross.
Yeah.
Red Cross are there to protect people.
Yeah.
But I was so afraid this guy can do anything. I was thinking he can just bring a bomb and just bomb everybody, and everybody will be, vanish because of me. I was like, God, what can I say? And Mama said, Mom, what do you want me to do? And Mom said, just go say hi to him. I didn't even want to say hi. I didn't want to say hi to him. Mama said, no, you go say hi and be mature. I said, mature? I don't know what you're talking about, Mom. If you will know what I have in my heart, and I won't use my maturity to do that.
Yeah.
And she said, no, guess what? My mom advised me, say what? Tell him, I carry your child. I'm going wherever they're taking us, and then I will claim you as my husband. I told him the same thing. I said, you are my husband forever. Don't worry. I have your child. And I said, in my culture, when you have a child with somebody, you can't marry nobody else. So you got my signature, whatever you want to call. You have my words. But he was happy. He was happy. He said, okay, if that's how it is. I think even now he's still waiting. If he's not dead, he's still waiting for me to claim him as a husband.
Yeah.
That's the prison story that I have, but it was more than I can say. I don't even know how to say everything, but...
I know, it's okay. I think people will get the point of where, what you were trying to get through. But that's going to roll over. We're on to my guy, Luke. Pookie is what we like to call him. We're going to give you an opportunity to share in a sense of, I guess, kind of give you a few moments for you to just kind of, okay, well, I guess I'll ask you questions to get you going and get your juices flowing, like, you know what I'm saying, my guy? Yeah. And then okay, first of all, hearing your mom say that story and talk about everything that she had to go through. Yeah. How did you feel when you first heard this story?
Well, I feel like this is the first time I've ever really heard the full story. But when my mom first told me the story, I was kind of sad for that she went through that. But you kind of see where she came from and how she became so strong, and kind of through the trenches that people hear this way, she kind of rose up from it all, and she just kept in her faith. So I was upset that I didn't know, but then I understood, Yeah. So at the time I was happy when she told me her background, and when she pulled me aside, I think it was the weekend after my birthday. But I even told her, I was I'm not mad at you. You have your reasons. And I was honestly happy when she told me, so I wasn't upset or anything. I took it very well. I think she can even agree to that. But it was just kind of mind-boggling, and just to know, I'm kind of older now, a little bit of things started clicking in my head, okay, this makes sense, my father came in 2009, or 2007, April 7th, 2007.
9.
It was it 9? Yeah,
yes.
It was 9. Okay, April 7th, 2009. So but I was a kid back then, so I didn't ask questions.
Yeah.
I was just very happy, you know. So a lot of those things, you know, clicked in my head. But hearing that story was like really, really tough to hear. But then I was happy because I mean, you can't just look at this and be upset,
Yeah.
you know. So I was very happy
Hmm.
to hear that.
So were you more happy in the sense of like now you finally are able to put the pieces together?
Yeah.
Because honestly, for me too, like
I was, like you said, like you always thought of me as your brother,
yeah.
right? And I was just like, okay, so my mom, like, when I was able to put the pieces together, it kind of like gave me a sense of identity too,
Okay.
you know? So that was pretty cool too. It was a really good feeling. I remember going to school. Because at the time, I just came back from Cougar Town,
Okay.
right?
Tell people a little bit
Okay,
about
Cougar
Cougar Town.
Town is like a program that they have at Raymond S. Kellis High School,
Mm-hmm.
where they kind of like send certain kids that they think not need help, but like think it's beneficial if they go on this like little retreat for a
Yeah.
couple of days, where they kind of like find themselves and talk about real world stuff, and it's like a safe space where you can cry, you can talk about how you really feel.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, at the time, I was really lost in who I was.
Yeah.
So when I went there, I kind of like really found myself,
Okay. You good boy.
and that's how I got the energy to ask my mom questions about these kind of things. Like, this doesn't necessarily make sense to me. Can you
Mhm.
explain? So that's when I ended up getting the confidence to ask my mom, and she told me, and I was very happy because I just went through a lot of stuff finding myself
Mhm.
in Cougar Town. Then I came back very high. You know, I love myself a little bit more,
Mhm.
and then connected with my mom even stronger because me and my mom have a really good bond.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that. Okay, so I know Amy didn't really give all the details of the whole situation. That, you know what I'm saying? I think we all kind of can put the pieces together, but she was taken advantage of, and then that's how you were basically made. Okay, so
Yes.
now let's say for you, speak to kids out there that are in the same situation. The women that here get taken advantage of, and then they're given that choice whether they keep the baby or don't keep the baby. All right, and now they keep it just like Amy did,
Yeah.
because she was like, I don't know who I have in my stomach, and
Yeah.
in our beliefs, we don't believe in getting an abortion, and so they have this kid. Now this kid is growing up feeling like, man, I was a mistake. I was like, my mom
Yeah.
didn't even want to have me. Like I was literally made out of like this dark place.
Yeah.
And again, like you're saying, you found your identity, which is a good thing. But for those kids who are trying to find their identity through that situation, what can you tell them and like help them, try to give them a little bit of advice of like how to deal with that and what they should do to help them conquer that feeling?
Yeah. First, I would like to say that me myself, I'm still learning.
Okay.
You know, but one advice or a couple of advices I would give to like kids who are in a similar situation is just to, it's okay to feel lost in the beginning, as
Mhm.
long as you keep trying to find yourself. You know, like for me, I know I've been through different crowds of people. Okay, do I belong here? Nope. Do I belong here? But eventually, if you keep trying,
Mm-hmm.
you'll find who you really are. Another thing I would say is don't try to force yourself
Mm-hmm.
to fit in,
Yeah.
because you'll eventually find your place, you know?
Okay.
Whether that's like, okay, I know people like to say that people who come from women that are taken advantage of,
Mm-hmm.
they're a mistake.
Yeah.
But to me, it's not for the world to decide.
Okay.
That's for
the mom and
the mom and for you to
Mhm.
prove those people wrong that I'm not a mistake, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like every human being has the right to live in this world
Okay.
and the right to decide who they become
Mm-hmm.
and not have a label on them, you know?
Yeah.
So I would just give the advice to the kids to stay strong.
Okay.
And I feel like even though you're labeled as a mistake, to me, I think people are truly a blessing. Those kids are truly a blessing
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know how to explain it. Because my situation is obviously different than other people's, but I feel like those parents, they chose to keep the baby and they have a reason for that.
Yeah.
No matter like what people are telling them,
Mm-hmm.
they obviously find you special.
Yeah.
You know, so go prove your parents right that you are special. You feel me?
I like that. Hey, okay, I would like for you to kind of hit on, like, talk more about your journey, like, through that, because I really want to, like, prevent those kids that are in that same situation as you are from having to go through all those different crowds to, like, be able to find a good crowd and stick with it. Like, I would, because you and I have talked a lot and have gone deeper into conversation about certain things that you had to go through, and I don't want them to go through that. And this is why we're creating this space for kids to, like, listen and be like, okay, well, I don't need to go through that, so I can try to feel a sense of security, so I can feel a sense of, like, worth and love, and be like, okay, well, I'm okay with who I am. Like, I know who I am, and this is where I want to go to. What can you, like, give a little bit people more of your testimony and your just a journey of the things that you feel comfortable sharing?
Okay. Well, for people that don't know, I have cerebral palsy. It's a disability. I think it's a neurological disability where your muscles don't function as well as other people. I believe there's 3 types, and I got the less severe one.
Sure.
It affects the right side of my body. So when I walk, I limp, and then my right side is weak, but one thing I would say, like, when I was little, I used to get bullied a lot.
You go, dog.
So, there's a lot of bullying that I went through as a little kid. But through that time, since I would get bullied, I try to do a lot of things that weren't me. So, it's very tough to live in a society where being disabled, you're labeled as you can't do anything, or it's like people in this society, they label you as not being able. You know, you're weak. So people like to take advantage of me, you know. But when it comes to my testimony, I'm thankful to be where I'm at right now. So I would just say, for the people with disabilities or cerebral palsy, my mom used to tell me that when I was little, the doctor said I wasn't going to be able to walk. Look at me now, bro.
My God.
You feel me? So, I don't know. I just feel like if people work hard enough, no matter what people say about them, they can do anything. That they want. So I just ended up feeling lost as a kid. You know, trying to fit in. You know, do good things, bad things. You know, like I've been through like drugs, and my mom doesn't know about that. I've been through drugs. I've been through hanging out with the wrong crowd, like people that I knew that I didn't fit in. But through those times, I was like, okay, I don't feel like this is me. So I just, you know, started to become quiet. And like you said, we've talked about a couple of things where not even half of my family knows. So, you know,
Hey, can you talk to bullies, please? Talk to them, bro. I think people in this society are just so blinded to. It's just such a me world, bro. But they don't understand how much they're affecting people, bro.
I feel like that's how America is, though.
Yeah.
We're very individualistic.
Mm-hmm.
You know, do what's best for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, as terms of bullies, I tend to find out that even though they're picking on you,
Mm-hmm.
they have a lot of their own issues
Yeah.
that they're afraid
Yeah.
going
They're
to, you know?
through as well too.
So, I tend to forgive all my bullies in the past.
Mm-hmm.
Not necessarily for them, but for me.
Yeah.
So they don't have that like chain on me, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned that from your mom or my grandma.
Yeah.
'Cause when I think like, how the heck do you forgive those guards? You feel me?
I feel you.
That did that did all those things to us as a family. So when it comes to bullies, I just feel like you know, they don't really care about anything in the world because they're going through their own issues. So at the time, it's not your job to judge.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you just have to try to get through it. For the people that are getting bullied,
Mm-hmm.
don't be afraid to speak up.
Okay.
You feel me? Because when you speak up, it gets out there, and maybe someone can pick it up and report it for you.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Because if you keep it to yourself, the bully wins, and it's not gonna stop. You feel me? So when it comes to bullying, I just feel like, you know, I feel like if you have the right resources, if you're not scared to speak up, you know, you can get through it if you have the right people. And I know there's a lot of people that helped me through my bullying, so I would like to thank those people. So,
Yeah, you can continue with.
with my story, I didn't find out that that my stepdad isn't my
Real dad.
real dad until I was 18. And at the time, it's been a kind of a weird connection.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of like his side. I don't know how to explain it, but so that was very like weird for me. But I was also happy because I just feel like it kind of like I was happy and relieved that I didn't feel like I belonged in a way. And once I got my answers, I was like, okay, now I know that they're my family, but in a way, like I know the people that I'm kind of like rocking with, or I don't know how to explain it in a way. It's kind of hard to talk about, but I don't really know what to do.
No, well, at least now, like you can figure out who Pookie is or who
Yeah.
Luke is, and like your identity. Now you don't have to keep having that weight on your shoulder. Like, oh man, I just don't feel very connected. So
After I found out, I think Cougar Town was a big help getting me through even that talk with my mom. It just like, okay, once I found out, like, okay, now I can go from where I'm at right now and just forget about all the lostness, because I got somewhere from the beginning. So I just started saying, okay, now that I got this information, what do I do with it? And I feel like for me, it was trying to make a better connection with the people around me.
yeah.
And with myself, I started loving myself a lot more. Because that's something they taught, like, that was very important in Cougar Town.
Yeah.
Because they were saying, how can you love yourself? I mean, how can you love someone else when you don't love yourself?
That's true.
You feel me? So, I just felt, like, grateful that once I heard my mom's story, like, I'm a miracle.
Yeah.
That helped me so much.
Says, can you actually touch, because Pookie is one of the bigger reasons why we're even able to survive, correct? If I'm not mistaken, can you touch upon that too? And first of all, hearing Pookie talk about all that, how does that make you feel? And also, like Lou kind of touched upon it, like you basically talking to him and making sure that he feels like he matters. Like why did you find that to be so important? And for parents that have kids like that too, like in almost the same way, what advice can you give them to make sure that their kids feel like they're important, like they weren't a mistake?
Well, the Bible says there's no mistake child.
Mm-hmm.
I believe that. Because if God don't want you to exist, you will never exist.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe with all my heart that there's no mistake child.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that helped me to not do abortion, because I know there's no mistake. You know, I may sin when I get that child, but the child is not a sinner.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he will always. I took Pookie. I knew that one day Pookie is the one that brings joy in me.
Mm-hmm.
To me, when I see him,
Yeah.
you know, it gives me joy.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I can tell people who have kids, like the same way I had them, there's no mistake in child. Actually, that's your joy and that's your blessing.
Mm-hmm.
Every day I see Pookie, I see John. It's just, it gives me feeling that I never feel before.
Mm-hmm.
You know, even though I have other kids,
Yeah.
I always feel like my firstborn is a miracle child.
Yeah.
You know, and he's a great child.
Oh, he definitely.
And I believe that God will use him extremely in his own way.
I think in this, just his testimony alone.
Yes. I kind of feel so sorry, feel so bad because me hearing my son. When I had a Pookie, I really loved Pookie, but my mom loved Pookie even. You know,
Yeah.
she did not want Pookie to be like my child. Even a lot of people who didn't know me did not know that Pookie is my firstborn.
Yeah.
He used to call me sister, like you guys.
Until she talked to me, she's like, "No, I'm your
Until
mom."
one day I said, "I'm your mom," and then even my mother felt so sad.
Yeah.
Why did I choose to tell Pookie that he's my son? I was like, "Mom,
Like,
I want
I didn't
Pookie to
know
know that I'm his mother."
Yeah.
You know? But my mom was like, "No, this is not the time." I'm like, "What is the time?" Pookie now can understand.
Yeah.
Pookie is my mom. And my mom felt so bad. Now
Yeah.
Pookie has to call me grandma. He's calling me grandma and this and this. So we kind of, I was like, "Mom," you know? And he was like, "Mom, what?" You know, Pookie's my child the same way he is your child. I was like, so Pookie has two mothers.
Mm-hmm.
So even though you call grandma, but you know, she doesn't think. Even when you move back to my house,
I was tough.
she was so mad at me.
So angry.
Yeah. And the thing that's why you.
And she said,
grew
and
up
then you know,
and were raised with
because
that.
he's my child, I did not even remind my mom, Pookie's coming home,
Yeah,
and she's like, Pookie is my youngest one. Now he's leaving. When I come home, there's nobody home. I'm like, "Ma, you know, I need help with these siblings, you know."
Yeah.
And Pookie's willing to help me. What's your problem? He goes like, "But you know, every day I come home, Pookie's not there, and it's not the same." So we know he is. He is a great child.
For sure.
Everybody wants him.
Mm-hmm.
So like I say, he brings joy to my life. I always tell everybody, the things that was so difficult for me, it was when Pookie called me on the phone. I don't know if you remember. He said, "Mom, is that my biological father?" You know? That's always the difficult things for me. For me to have a kid and they have a different dad, I knew my child would take them in the wrong way, and I did not want to accept that. I never want to tell Pookie that my husband is not his biological, you know what, number one, if my husband will do something even to correct him, he will take wrong, oh, because you're not my dad.
Yeah.
Kids, they intend to do that. Or also if he will say something to him and he will say, yeah, maybe you're not my son, because you're not my son, that's why you're doing that. It's a both side. But when he called me, I never want to tell him that he's not his biological until he's fully, when he graduates from high school. Because I know how much can that cause, affect to a child. You know, so that's the only reason. I was so sad when Pookie called me. I was like, what is going on with the person that... I wish I knew somebody who told Pookie. I don't know what I was going to do to the person, but he was holding into, he didn't want to tell me who say it. And he asked me, he's like, yes or no? I said, Pookie, how about you give me a time? You know, let's go out and talk about everything. That's when I told him how I got him. So even though I didn't go in detail like now, but at least he told me that, Mom, now I found my missing puzzle.
You don't understand.
You know, I feel like it's okay for him to know that my husband is not his biological. For me, I'm different maybe than other people, but it's okay for him to accept that, and it's okay for my husband to accept that, you know. But that does not affect the relationship. If they want to, they can have a good relationship. But there's not a mistaken child. There's not a mistaken child at all. It doesn't matter what people calls your name, no matter how. And another thing that bothered me was when I came here with Pookie, we went to the doctor. Pookie was 1 year and 2 months, I think, but he was not walking. He couldn't even crawl. But we did not... I didn't know what's going on. And then when I went to the doctor, one time he was sick, he had fever that kept going on, you know. And I took him to the hospital one day, and then they say, his primary doctor said, oh, there's nothing wrong with him, give him Motrin. That day I went crazy. I said, no, you're going to have to transfer me to different hospital. I want my son. You know, so I would do anything. The doctor said there was nothing wrong. So he sent me to do x-ray. And then from there, they told me that you can't go home. Right away, you have to go to Good Samaritan. It used to be Good Sam Hospital. It's on 10th Street in McDowell Road. It's now Banner Hospital. But it used to be Good Samaritan. They said that he had ammonia. So from then, he was in the hospital for 2 weeks. After that, then that's when they did the tests, everything, and then they find the cerebral palsy. But they asked me, you know, the doctor will ask you things, but I felt so... I like things to myself. I never want to tell them full what happened, you know? But surely what happened is because his dad used to beat me. One time, I remember, I think he asked me for food, and I said, I don't have food. He put me in bed. He was kicking me in my stomach, knowing that I was pregnant. Yes. I was like, I even asked him, can't you kick me on my head? Just my head is fine. Don't kick me on my stomach. I'm pregnant. You're kicking me on you're gonna harm your child. I remember saying that. But he didn't say that. And after that, he said sorry. But after doing something, your sorry doesn't count. You know, it doesn't matter no more. So I know. And even now, I still praying that Pookie will always, you know how he's physical like that? They told me he would not be able to walk. But one day we pray. Until now, I am convinced that one day he'll be able to walk good. But that's my feeling. And I don't see him as somebody who has a problem.
And I don't.
You know? I never see him. But you know, when you're a child, yes, you can feel that way. Like he said that he used to feel like his...
The thing is, I didn't feel that way until someone decided to ruin my life and tell me like you walk different. So I was just like, because you know when you have it,
Yeah, you don't really notice it.
you know. So it got to the point where I was like, okay, whatever. You tell me whatever. It doesn't matter to me because I know who I am. And then it just continued with like, oh, you look funny, this, that, and it kind of
Started getting your head.
yeah. So
that little seed got planted.
exactly. So I'm just like, for the people out there that find it funny to ruin people's days or try to like mess with them, I don't think that's cool. But in a way, I don't think I would care if I walk normal. Cause I feel like this is what makes me me. Feel me?
Hey, they should see you dancing.
That's what I'm saying.
Boy. They should see you
I
dancing.
play
now.
basketball.
Yeah.
All that. So I'm good.
I told him one day, I said, look, you need to go look yourself in the mirror and say, this is who I am. I don't know if you remember that. You don't remember that? I said, you can say things to yourself. That's what matters.
Okay, yeah.
Who you call yourself is who you are. What people say about you is what people say about you. Don't you ever consider what people say about you. You know, just you know yourself, right? You know who you are. When you know who you are, it really doesn't bother you.
Yeah.
You know, like it didn't bother me. I went through a lot. Like I said, in my culture, when you have a child before you get married, it's like that's it. Nobody will ever love you. And that's how it used to be. Now things are changing, but that's how it used to be. But one day I was thinking, yes, that's how it used to be. Until the point that I decide I will never marry somebody from my culture. I said to myself, I say, I
Watch
would
out.
never.
Don't let mom see this.
Yeah, don't let grandma see this one.
Not, no.
No, we just
She can
It's
say-
a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke.
That was in my mind, you know. See, my mom would say things different than me, but the reason why, in my head, I say, I don't want a man in my life who will ever tell me, I found you this way. You were this. You were this. You were this. I hate that. I was like, I know other culture. If you had a child, some people get married and they have 5 kids and it still don't make difference.
Yeah.
They will take you as who you are. I wanted somebody who take me as I am. Then I advised myself, I said, we'll never date African. We're not even allowed to date. You know? So people were coming. They were coming. Everybody when they come. I had like 2 guys came. So I will make a joke. You're not supposed to tell people who's just trying to marry you, say, this is, I have a baby, you hide. In our culture, you don't say these things. You just let them find out on their own.
They do that here.
And then, until one day, this guy came, he said he loved me. And I was like, yeah, really? Do you know who I am? He was like, yeah, I know you, I know your mom. And I said, guess what? I have a child. He was shocked. But he said, after that, I never hear about from him. So I heard people saying that, oh, this guy was just trying to date Amy and then find out that she. And I told people, I'm the one who told him. So that's nothing new. So you can say whatever you want.
Yeah.
But I knew that to not feel ashamed of who I am. And then I want to be honest with the person who's going to be in my life at the beginning.
Yeah.
I never want him to find out from somebody else. I want him to find out from me. So a few guys came, and there was even a guy that came that really fully knew me. But the parents said that he will never marry somebody who had a child. And then, but the guy really did love me with all his heart. Until now, he still cries, but he's a loser. Sorry, but like I say, I used to think, I said, I wanted to do something for my son that he will never experience this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
When you talk about bully people, there will always be bully people
Yeah.
who find something wrong with you, no matter, even like me, there was people who were bullying me, you know, even at work. So those people are existing everywhere.
Yeah.
They're everywhere. So I feel like you have to remind of who you are. You have to know yourself. You know who you are, you know, and stand on who you are. Know what people say. Yeah, so.
Nice. Pookie, do you got anything that you would like to touch upon, and is there anything you'd like to share, and maybe final words of encouragement for people that are going through what you're going through, some final thoughts, so we can wrap this thing up. We've been going for a minute now.
Yeah.
I know you got some stuff to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, some final words, man, from the both of you guys before we close this thing up. If not, then it's cool, but
I just like to say what my mom said, just to kind of stand on who you are and go towards the people who push you to do good, not to do bad.
Yes.
To rely on the people that aren't just yes men, because there's a lot of people who are yes men.
yeah.
Like, oh, should I do this even if it's bad? Yeah. Or should I do this even if it's good? Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta find the people who won't be
Yes, man.
yes men, who will tell you how it is,
Yeah.
what you should do to benefit yourself or benefit your family, you know. And I think you've seen me grown into a person who tries to be respectful but also speak his mind, because I took everything that I went through as a kid, or like even now, and I try to better myself from it. And I just like to let people know that it does get better, you know. Even if it seems like you're kind of down and people are kind of pounding on you, if you rely on the right people, if you trust in God, because I know God's been a big part of my upbringing.
Mm-hmm.
I've been through a lot of stuff that I couldn't just get out with just you guys, or just with my mom or friends. You know, I need someone who knows everything, who can.
Yeah.
So as long as you got the right people around you and you know, good connection with God, I think you can get through anything.
Thank you. Last final words for you, sis, or are you good? You've said enough.
I feel like I say enough, but there will always be something. I will encourage people to just trust in God. Whatever you go through, it doesn't matter what hardship, abuse, or anything that you go through, as long as you hold to God and you say, God, you know, you're the only one who can change my situation, and you can make me who you want me to be, for your glory. And I think God is always great, and He's always there for us. He loves us so much. He said He will never forsake us. He will never leave us. So we know we have insurance through Him. So thank you so much.
Yeah, I would also like to say thank you for this opportunity. And
No,
thank you for
thank you for
everything
sharing, man.
Thank you. Thank you for having us.
Of course. Well, guys, that wraps up the podcast. There's light at the end of the tunnel. And like my sister and my nephew just said, there will be people that are always going to try to bring you down, kick you, punch you, do whatever, man. And I know a lot of my podcast is religious based because that was our upbringing. You don't have to be religious to listen to this podcast. You don't have to be religious to get something from this. If you can get one thing from this podcast or from this episode in itself, is that you will be able to get through it. There's always, like in the Bible it says, there's different seasons. There's times to be happy, there's times to be sad, there's times to be joyful, and there's times to cry. There'll be different seasons in your life every single day. But to just remember that there's always something better and that you will make it through. Again, I thank y'all and I love you. And as always, I know my sisters, she's on the throne right now in the middle center stage, but I thought it was only proper because I love her and she needed to have all the attention she could get. But like always, man, God loves you. I love you. God bless and stay safe. Thank y'all. Love y'all. Appreciate it, sis. Thank y'all for being on.